guys. Thanks for watching Realitywithdj.
Dom on the beat.
Please subscribe at the end of the video. We're going to do a video about this pre-trip inspection and make sure you guys have it down pat. So you guys do what's good. Alright guys, gonna do a general overview. Everything look clean. I don't see nothing crack, damage, loose. My windshield is not crack, damage, loose. It's clean. It's free from any type of debris. My hood is not crack, damage, loose. My mirrors on top of my hood is not crack, damage, loose. Mirrors look fine to me. You see properly out of it. It's not crack, damage, loose. Properly mounted bracket. Not crack, damage, loose. My mirror, you can see pretty good out of there. It's not crack, damage, loose. Pretty clean. My headlights, it's not crack, damage, loose. They are clean. My lenses, it's not crack, damage, loose. It's properly mounted. I don't see anything leaking at the bottom of it. Everything's look properly good to me. My lights up there is not crack, damage, loose. It's properly mounted. Alright, we're gonna go to the side over here. I'm gonna do a general overview on the side of the truck. I don't see nothing crack, damage, loose. I don't see no hoses that have any abrasion, bumps, or cuts in it. Everything look good to me. The mirrors look properly clean to me. It's not crack, damage, or loose. It's clean, free from any type of debris. My mirror, well, if you guys see anything like this on the test, it's not good. I mean, it's properly mounted, but it's not good at all, because, you know, this is supposed to be fixed. DOT could mess with me, but by me being the owner operator, that's my responsibility to take care of that. So but when you on a general overview, you want to you looking at your mirrors, not crack, damage, loose. You want to make sure everything is properly mounted and seated. My water stripping look like it's properly seated, it's properly mounted. It don't have no abrasion, bumps, or cuts in it. My exhaust, it's not crack, damage, loose. But if you guys see anything like this on the pre-trip, that can get you a bit fine right there. That's not okay right there. But you want to make sure that your exhaust is not leaking anything. The side of my cab is not crack, damage, loose. Everything look properly mounted and seated. My lenses, not crack, damage, loose. Properly mounted. I'm gonna go to my gas can. It's not leaking diesel fuel. It's not crack, damage, loose. My straps look good to me. Is properly mounted to the gas can. Where we at with it now? So now we want to make sure that it ain't nothing leaking out of these straps. It ain't nothing leaking. So we look good over here. My lenses probably mounted seated. But again, like I say, if you guys see anything like this, it's not good. We're not passing on DO tests like that. So make sure all your lenses and reflectors and everything else is perfect. This right here, it's not good. I know it has to be replaced, but you know, I'm just doing a quick overview. We're gonna go to the driver's side. Quick overview. I don't see nothing crack, damage, loose. Everything properly mounted and seated. No abrasion, bumps, and cuts. My exhaust pipe, it's not crack, damage, loose. It's properly mounted. My steps, it's not crack, damage, loose. It's properly mounted to the straps. And I forget to mention that on the other side, that my catwalk didn't have no crack, damage. It wasn't like hanging off. It wasn't nothing that was out of place. So I'm gonna say that's okay. You can pass the DOT inspection with that. My lenses, not crack, damage, loose. Is properly mounted to the my steps. That's another thing I didn't check. But you want to make sure when you open your cap that your safety seal is in there, so it don't leak any diesel out. And then you want to make sure your safety chain is on at all times. And everything look good, so it's properly mounted and seated. And I ain't see no abrasion, bumps, or cuts inside the seal, safety seal, so that looks good to me. My mirror here, it's not okay. Remember guys, it's not okay. So when you're doing a DOT inspection, you want to make sure you have a good mirror or you would not pass our test. But you want to make sure everything not cracked, damaged, loose, and it's properly mounted and seated to the door. You want to make sure that mirror is clean, that you can see out of it when you're driving down the road. So it's like you want to look for every little small thing, you know? All right, so my door don't open right here, but it's supposed to open, but I have to get that fixed, so you will not pass the DOT inspection again. It's a lot of things that's wrong with this truck, but I just bought it. I'm gonna do on operator, so I'm just getting my feet wet. So you want to make sure it open properly. You want to make sure your weather stripping is having no abrasion, bumps, or cuts in it, and it's properly mounted to the door. You want to make sure your door closes properly, and you know you just want to walk around. So now we finna get ready to go under the hood. We want to make sure everything is decent. So now we finna open the hood. This have no abrasion, bumps, or cuts in it. It's properly mounted and seated to the cab. That looks good to me. It's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's properly mounted to the cab. Looks great. So usually when you pop a hood, you want to put your foot right there, because that's your strength gonna come from your legs when you pop the hood. So therefore, when you get ready to pop the hood, I used to do it with 2 hands, but I'm gonna do it 1 hand. Put your foot, have your foot in place, your back foot spaced out from your front foot, and here you go. It's not too bad at all. All right, I'm doing a general overview, so I don't see nothing cracked, damaged, or loose. Everything is properly mounted and seated. I don't see no abrasion bumps or cuts in my hoses, and everything is properly mounted and seated. I don't see nothing leaking at the bottom. Everything's look good. All right, so now I got my reservoirs. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna start off with my reservoirs. So my cooling reservoir, my windshield washer reservoir, and my power steering reservoir are not cracked, damaged, loose. They are properly filled to the top with the proper amount of oil. My windshield washer reservoir is properly mounted in full. The cap this is not good at all. Like I say, you know, small things, but this should be going on here properly. It should, but this is broken, so it will not. But you want to make sure your cap is properly mounted and seated. You want to make sure you have the safety thing on there, so that way it don't fall out. You want to make sure it's not leaking anything. So my cooler's not leaking anything, no coolant. My cap is properly mounted, it's tight. You want to make sure it come off and goes on the proper way, and that look good to me. And it's at the proper mounting level. So that's okay. All right. So now my frame is free from any illegal welds. It's not cracked, damaged, or loose. Everything is properly mounted and seated. I want to say I'm gonna go to my oil. So my oil is right there. The way you check your oil is you have to pull it out, wipe it, and enter it in. I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just gonna let you guys know. I'll take it out, wipe it, and I'll enter it again and make sure it's past the add line. And you want to make sure that your oil is properly mounted to the right level with oil. And you want to make sure that your cap is not cracked, damaged, loose, and it's properly seated to the cap. It's my fuel filter. It's not cracked, damaged, loose. The cap is properly mounted. It's tight. You want to make sure that's on at all time. Comes off correctly. You got the safety seal on there. Have no abrasion bumps, cuts in it. So I'm going to put that back on. Three-piece steering language. That's what we call that. Three-piece steering language. It's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's have no abrasion bumps, cuts in the hoses around it. You going to the air brake. My air brake, it's not filled up right now because the truck is off, but it have no abrasion bumps, cuts in there, and I don't hear any air leaking out. We got a brake chamber. So my brake chamber, my push rod, and my slack adjuster. It's not cracked, damaged, loose, and the hoses and the seals have no abrasion bumps, cuts in it. It's not leaking in the air. My push rod is not have no more than a quarter inch of play into it. And how would you know that is when you get inside the cab and you press on the brakes. So you would not just know it just by standing outside. On my hoses that lead to all my brake system have no abrasion bumps, cuts in there. It's properly mounted and seated. It's not leaking in the air. This is your ABS right here. This is your ABS ABS line, and it's not have no abrasion bumps cut in there, and it's properly mounted. All right, so you got your control arm back there. It's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's not broken. It's properly mounted to the bracket. This is called the draw shaft. Want to make sure you got no more than 3/4 of interplay when you twist it, and it's properly mounted and seated. Other U-bolts is properly mounted and seated to the draw shaft, so everything's look properly mounted and seated. There's nothing wrong with it. That look great to me. Air compressor, it's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's properly mounted and seated. Alternator, it's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's properly mounted to the frame. It's not leaking any fluid. Then we're gonna get inside the brakes. So now we got the brake pads. My brake pads look good. Got at least an inch of play on there. It looks great to me. My brake drums look great to me. The inside of my rim is not cracked, damaged, loose. It's free from any legal wells. It look great to me. Okay, my tires. Inside of my tire wall have no abrasion bumps, cuts in it. It's properly mounted and seated to the axle. Top of my tire frame. It looks great. This is how you want your tires to look. So you want to make sure you have at least 40-30 seconds of interplay deep, and that's how you know the two front tires are going to be great. And only the front two tires only gonna have 30 seconds of an inch deep. So the back tires or inner tires back there gotta be at least 30 seconds. But only the two front tires, and you want to make sure they virgin radius tires. You want to make sure they matching tires in the same sizes, because the truck will not ride properly if it's not. Only on trailer tires you could have different sizes tire, but not on the cab. All right. On the outside of my tire walls, no abrasion bumps, cuts, properly mounted and seated to the rim. My rim have no cracks, damage. It's not loose. It's free from any legal wells. My lug nuts look good. They're not loose. Looseness to be from any metal shavings or shiny metal. My wood seal is not leaking any fluid. It's not had no abrasion bumps or cuts in it. This looks great to me. So we're gonna go to the other side, the passenger side. Airbags have no abrasion bumps, cuts in it. It's properly mounted to the frame, and the bracket is properly mounted. It has no cracks, damage, and it's properly mounted. And the bolts on there are not cracked, damaged, and loose, and they have no shiny metals on there, and they have no metal shavings. So that means it's good to go. It's shocks right here, properly mounted. It's not leaking any hydraulic fluid is not crack damaged loose, and it's properly mounted to the frame bracket. This is called your brake chambers. Brake chamber, my slack adjuster, and my push rod is not crack damaged loose, and it's properly mounted. You see it? And all the hoses that's connected to it have no abrasion, bumps, or cuts in it, and they are not leaking any air. So it looks great to me. My brake pads look good. They have at least an inch of play on there. Not crack damaged loose. Brake drums look good. Everything is not crack damaged loose. Everything look free from any illegal welds. Outside of my rims, free from any illegal welds. Not crack damaged loose. My tire wire have no abrasion, bumps, or cuts in it, and it's properly mounted to the rim. My core is not leaking anything from the radiator. That looks great to me. All right. So outside of the top of my tire, I have no abrasion, bumps, cuts in it. It's not leaking any air. I have at least 430 seconds, an inch of play. Tires look great. Outside of the tire walls, have no abrasion, bumps, cuts in it. It's not leaking any air. The rims have no crack damage, and it's not loose, and it's free from any illegal welds. My lug nuts are tight. I don't see any signs of looseness of shaving metals or shiny metal or metal shavings. So everything looks great to me. So we're gonna walk around. So now that we done looking under the hood, we want to go around to the back. The general overview. Oh, the bus kind of close. Sorry, guys. All right. So general overview. I don't see nothing crack damaged loose. I don't see no intrusions in the back of my cab. My reflector tapes are in place. Everything's look great. My airlines look great. It's just not properly mounted. It's supposed to have a bracket which you mount the airlines to, so you don't want that because DOT can mess with you for that too. So you want them properly mounted to your cab. Lug nuts. It's not crack damaged loose. I don't see any signs of looseness of shiny metals or metal shavings. All right, so you see the airbags? This is not what you want. You want to make sure that your airbags are not inflated. So this is no good. So I gotta get 2 new airbags. Once again, I just bought the truck, so it's something I just have to keep up with. It's going to be a lot because it's always something that's going to be wrong with the truck. If it ain't one thing, it's another. And I noticed that after the experience I had with the truck since I've been driving this truck, because I had it for about 2 years now. So I'm still learning. But I had to fix at least like 7,000 worth of damage when I first bought it, because they only charged me 16,000. So I had to put like at least 7-8 more thousand into it to get it right. And I'm still not done, as you can see. So all my lines have no abrasion, bumps, or cuts, and it's not leaking in the air. My drive shaft, it's not crack damaged or loose. It's properly mounted. It's properly mounted to the U joints. My frame, not crack damaged or loose. Have no signs of any illegal welds. All my lug nuts are not crack damaged loose. Loose signs show by metal shavings or shiny metals. My catwalk is properly mounted to the frame. It's not crack damaged loose. All my bolts that's mounted to the frame are not crack damaged loose, and it don't show any signs of looseness. My catwalk is not crack damaged loose. It's properly mounted to the frame. My bracket is not crack damaged loose. It's properly mounted. But this is what you don't want. Again, you will not pass the DOT test inspection, but it's properly mounted right. My release handle is properly mounted. It's not loose. Where we at? All right, so then you want to make sure all your airlines, you want to make sure everything is properly mounted. You don't want nothing hanging, and you want to make sure you have no branches, bumps, or cuts in. It's not leaking any air. All right, so we're gonna move back. My shocks are not cracked, damaged, or loose. It's not leaking any hydraulic fluid. It's properly mounted to the bracket, and the bracket is properly mounted to the frame, and the bolts are properly mounted. It's not cracked, damaged, or loose. They don't show any signs of loose metal. My eyebrows are not having any type of signs of abrasions, bumps, or cuts in. It's properly mounted to the frame, and the bolts are not cracked, damaged, loose, and it don't show any signs of loose metals. My fifth wheel is not cracked, damaged, loose. You want to make sure you at least have grease around it, so that way when you slide under the trailer, it'd be smooth. But it's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's properly mounted and seated to the frame, and this is a non-sliding fifth wheel. And all the bolts, it's not cracked, damaged, loose, and don't show any signs of looseness. My lock, not cracked, damaged, loose. It's ready to lock to the trailer kingpin. Yes, sir. That's what I like to see. My draw shaft that's connected to my front differential to the rear differential is not cracked, damaged, loose. It's properly mounted to the U joints, and I don't see any signs of looseness. My differential is not cracked, damaged, loose. It's not leaking. I don't see any signs of loose metals. All right, so it's looking good to me. Inside of my tire, I'm gonna start from my brakes. My brake pads are not loose. They have at least an inch of play. I don't see any signs of illegal welds. Outside of my rim, I don't see any signs of illegal welds, and it's not cracked, damaged, loose. All right, my tires have no abrasion, bumps, cuts in it, and it's not leaking any air. I have at least 30 seconds of inch of play. I don't see no abrasion, bumps, or cuts in at the top of it, and it's not leaking any air. The end of my tires walls, I don't see no abrasion, bumps, or cuts. It's not leaking any air. It's ready to go. Inside of my doors, it's free from any type of debris, and the inside of my rims, it's not cracked, damaged, loose, and it's free from any illegal welds. Free from any illegal welds. So we on the outside. And that's how you want to go around the whole truck. You want to go around the whole truck like that. You want to make sure you're looking at the same thing when it comes to all your tires. Make sure it's not leaking any type of air. So now we're at the outside. All right, we at the outside, so there's no abrasion, bumps, cuts in it. It's not cracked, damaged, loose, and it's not leaking any air. The U-bolts, it's not cracked, damaged, loose. I don't see any signs of loose metals. My rims, not cracked, damaged, loose. Free from any illegal welds. And all my bolts are in place. I don't see any signs of loose metals. So, like I say, like when you see little signs of things like this, you want to make sure you get that fixed. So that's something that you don't want. And you just want to make sure you look at everything when you walk around your truck, especially when you're on the truck. You want to make sure everything is working properly. You want to make sure everything is properly mounted. You want to make sure everything is in place. So when you do get like a DOT inspection, you want to make sure everything is good. So, and I already announced that my catwalk was okay, so I can deal with that. So I'm not gonna go all the way around with all my tires, but you want to make sure all your tires and brakes are the same. You want to put all of it in the combination and make sure all your brakes working, all your airlines, make sure they have no abrasion, bumps, cuts in it. You want to make sure nothing's leaking any air. As you can see, I be at the truck stop a lot. I got a mud flat right here. It's an extra one because this one right here too long. You don't want that long. You want to make sure you have clearance tight from the ground. That's what you want. But my frame, not cracked, damaged, loose. It's properly mounted, free from any illegal welds. So the frames look good to me. My rear differential, it's not cracked, damaged, loose. It's not leaking any fluids. Properly mounted and seated. I don't see No signs of loose metals around the bolts. Everything's look properly mounted and good to me. Not crack damage loose. It's not broken. It's properly mounted to the differential. And properly mounted to the bracket. So everything's look good to me. I don't see no signs of loose metals. So when you do a motherfucking inspection like this, you want to make sure everything alright. So like I say, you want to go around the whole truck and make sure everything's good. Because if you don't, then you could just be on the road one day and the truck just go out on you. So you want to make sure everything is in order. So, and then when you look at the back of this truck, you want to make sure, like, you see how I have loose wires right here? You don't want loose wires. You don't want none of that. You want to make sure your hoses are properly mounted. You don't want your hoses hanging on the catwalk. This is catwalk. Your hoses should not be hanging on top of there. That's unacceptable. So then, all right, we're in the back. So like I say, guys, look for everything. You see how this is cricket? You see how this is bent and cricket? It's unacceptable. That would not go. If I get stopped looking like this, I'm getting a big ticket. But majority of the time, I have a trailer behind me, so soon I will be getting this fixed. But my you want to make sure that your mud flap bracket is properly mounted and seated. You want to make sure the reflectors are on there. You want to make sure that it is properly mounted to the frame. You want to make sure your mud flap have proper clearance height from the ground. And you want to make sure your mud flap is in good place. So that's why I just went and bought another mud flap. You want to make sure airbags have no abrasion bumps or cuts in it. You want to make sure it's not leaking any air. See, right now they are inflated because the truck is not on. But when you turn the truck on and build the air pressure up, they will build up. But it's properly mounted to the bracket, and the bracket is properly mounted to the frame. I don't see any looseness or shiny metals. So everything looks great to me. My shocks, again, it's the bracket. The hydraulic shocks are properly mounted to the bracket, and the bracket is properly mounted to the frame. I don't see any looseness around the metal, the bolts, and looseness be shown by metal shavings or shiny metal. The shocks are not leaking any hydraulic fluid, so that look great to me. So you want to make sure you're looking at everything. Again, brakes, brake pads. I don't see no uneven wear on there. It's not crack damage loose, and they are free from any illegal wear. The inside of my rim is not crack damage loose. It is free from any illegal wear. My tire is properly mounted to my rim. Inside of my rim have no abrasion bumps, cuts in it. It's not leaking in the air. Again, top of my tire. I have no abrasion bumps, cuts in it. It's not leaking in the air. You have at least 30 seconds of an inch deep of tread depth. And that's from any tires that's on the back of the cab. Only two tires that should not have any 2 seconds of an inch tread depth deep is the front two tires. But all back tires, you want to make sure that it have at least 2 30 seconds of an inch tread depth deep. You want to make sure it's 2 30 seconds of an inch deep. And the front tires, the steer tires, 4 30 seconds of an inch deep of tread depth. And that's what you want. So now we have my lenses, lights, and reflectors are properly mounted and seated. It's not crack damage to loose. So that's what I want. I can't turn my lights on right now because my truck is off. But if I was to turn my truck on, I want to make sure all my lights are working properly. So that's something that I want. All right. So now we just gonna walk around. So as you guys start your CDR process, make sure you just look at everything. You want to make sure you look at everything on your truck. Everything. Always do inspections because it's something that's always wrong with these trucks, and you want to make sure everything is in order. So in order for you to know that everything is in order, is for you to inspect. Inspection is really important in the trucking industry, and it's important for a lot of people to understand that, because if you don't, you will be a failure in the trucking industry. So you want to make sure inspecting is the main thing, because if these wheels ain't rolling, your money ain't going. You know what I'm saying? So You just want to look at everything, like I was showing you, like all the little small things. I got the top. I can name a couple things. I got the top. I got the mirror. My mirror bracket good, but my mirror is hanging off. I got a zip with zip ties. I can't open my door properly. My name got to get on here too. That's why I had to tape, because my name is not on there. But again, I just bought this truck. It's another thing. I have to get this fixed. That's a must. See, this look good to me. Even though it have like a little dents in it, that's good. It's properly mounted off the ground. It's not crack damaged loose. And it's properly mounted all the way around. So and you just want to look all the way around. So even the airbags right here, you want to make sure that these are not inflated, so that your truck will be balanced. Like, you want your truck to ride evenly. You want to make sure your suspensions in front of the truck. You want to make sure your suspension in front of the truck is even. So basically, if my truck leaning right now to the right, more to the right than the left, that means my suspension is something wrong with it. So now I can't really go to the driver's side on my door, but I can go to the passenger side. So my door open properly. You want to make sure it open and closes properly. My windows are clean. I have no abrasive bumps or cuts in my hinges. My lock, it locks properly. It's properly mounted in the seat. I don't see nothing cracked, damaged, or loose. My weather stripping is something I'm going to have to get. That's new. You want to make sure your weather stripping is in good shape and have no abrasive bumps, cuts in it, and it's properly mounted. You want to make sure your window rolled down properly. You want to make sure it's a general overview. So once you get inside the truck, I don't see nothing cracked, damaged, or loose. I don't see no abrasive bumps, cuts, and any type of rubber or hoses or whatever. You want to make sure your air gauges are past 60 before you move the any type of commercial vehicle. It got to be past 60 where that ABS light will come off. So I will be doing an in-cab inspection on the next video. I just want to give you guys a quick overview, just to, like, just look at everything, make sure you get everything down pat. And that's how everything will be in order. My door closes properly, and that's something you want right there. I want to make sure I close this back properly, because when you drive on the road, you don't want the truck to fly on you. I mean, you don't want the hood to fly out on you, and then that's another case. That's another case right there. So you want to make sure everything is closes properly. Feel more safe like that. And one of the main things, you want to make sure these vehicles are not leaking any types of fluid. Because if they are leaking any types of fluid, you want to make sure you go get that checked out like immediately. And that's really important. So I want to just thank you guys for watching my video. If you don't mind, please subscribe, like, comment. I will be posting more videos soon. And thank you guys. Love you guys. You guys enjoy.